Well, good afternoon and welcome to San Angelo Live. This is the Political Desk. It's Wednesday, so we are talking to politicians and candidates for local office. And today I have the pleasure of having Todd Kolls with me. Todd is a candidate for Tom Green County Judge. Welcome, Todd.
Thank you. Appreciate y'all having me.
And you survived the primary.
We did.
And,
we did, yeah.
So now it's a two-man race for county judge, and that is about 7 weeks away. We'll have the actual runoff election. Reflections on the primary itself. Anything stick out in as far as good experiences, bad experiences?
Oh, it's been great. I'm having a lot of fun. I really am. I've never done anything like this.
Yeah.
And so getting involved on this level and running a campaign and being a candidate is something completely new to me.
It is a unique experience.
It really is. And I'm having fun. Like I said, I've met a lot of great people. It's humbling to see the support that we have coming in and the people that call me and text me and just constantly are giving back and giving good feedback to me and helping me with the campaign. It's a humbling experience. You learn a lot about your community. You learn a lot about the county. You learn a lot about the city, state statutes. I mean, you learn a lot about this stuff, and you learn a lot about yourself. And one of the things you just said, we're talking with politicians.
Yeah,
I've learned I'm not much of a politician, and I'm more of I'm just a straight shooter. I'd like to deal in reality.
Yeah,
and a lot of campaigning is perception, and so you really need to. I gotta try to stay in reality because that's what I'm more suited for. So, but I'm learning and I'm having fun, and it's been a heck of a good process for me. So.
That's good. That's good. And we have stepped out of one race, and this is a whole new ball game.
Yep.
There are just two guys on the ballot this trip. So it looks like to me, I've never been in a runoff, but that the object of the game here is to show voters why they need to vote for you instead of the other guy.
Sure. Yeah. Get people to go vote again.
That's it. And runoffs,
they
typically don't have a very good turnout. So getting people to go vote is really tough. But we have 3 runoffs, local runoffs here, and at least 2 at the state level, statewide level. So we'll have the ballot will be bigger than normal.
Sure. Yeah.
You spent a lot of time at the Commissioner's Court and doing a lot of research. Over the next 4 years, there are going to be a number of issues facing the county. What do you see as maybe bubbling up to the top of those issues now?
Oh, it's a nationwide issue. It's called inflation.
Okay.
And that is going to be a huge thing that our county is going to have to face head on. Through the budgetary cycle back in July, you budget for things throughout the year, and the judge and the Commissioner's Court work really hard for about a month to make sure that the county budget is pretty bare bones. There's not a lot of meat left on that bone. And whenever you experience inflation rates like we're seeing, every project the county has in front of them, everything that the county wants to go and do or has to spend money on, the inflation rate it's going to be hard. And so they've already experienced that with the fuel. The county fuel bill.
Yeah, I was going to mention that fuel. They just Tuesday finally got another vendor,
and it seemed like a heck of a good deal as compared to what they thought they were going to be able to get. So we were lucky in that regard. But I'm experiencing it in my store right now. Down at the store, we see every day. You've got supply issues that are constant. You have inflation and cost issues that are constant as well. So it's going to be the same issues that the county's going to have to face.
Yeah, and that not just the inflation, but what it does. We're looking at property values going up here. They're increasing faster than most folks would like, unless, of course, I guess you're a seller. But what do those pressures look like at least right now?
Everybody wants their home to be valuable until the tax bill shows up, and then all of a sudden they want to shy away from it. I think, Yantis, most people in San Angelo and West Texas, they are common sense solution people, and they don't mind their assessed values going up. They expect that. They kind of want that in a way, but the excessive amounts that it goes up, I think, is where people have a problem, and that comes from a lot of the state. The county has very little to do with that. The county just has to manage the budget that we have so that we don't have to, use more money than we actually get coming in through revenues.
Yeah.
So you've got to have a strong person standing in those rooms in Austin, fighting back for the counties, fighting back for the for those rules and regulations that the state brings back to us through our county assessor. And it's going to be an issue because tax values of your homes and your properties are going to go up, and people are going to start getting that tax bill, and they're going to be shocked. So it is going to be an issue we're going to have to deal with. But again, it's one of those. It's going to be a hard budgetary process this next July to try to figure out with inflation where we're headed and with the assessed values and where we're going to be able to land in the middle of all that. It's going to be a challenge.
And counties, as opposed to cities and schools, don't have a lot of revenue sources.
Correct.
And particularly here in Tom Green County, where you don't have a lot of industry and business, that's property tax on residential property. One of the things I was looking, the Texas County Judges and Commissioners Association put out resolutions, and this last bunch, one of those was, and this is not unique, you've heard this before, that the $10 fee that you charge to renew, the counties get to charge to renew license tags, has been that way since 1991. And the resolution from the association was to be able to double that to $20 as opposed to $10. And that's one very small revenue source, and that would go directly to Road and Bridge.
No, we desperately need some kind of funding source for Road and Bridge that it's a little bit more constant. Right now we're having to rob Peter to pay Paul and a lot of road and bridge stuff, and that road and bridge stuff is a necessity in the county.
Yeah.
You've got to keep those road and bridges safe and secure for the constituents. So any added tax is not a good thing.
Right.
Any added money coming out of my pocket to pay for the government is not a good thing.
Yeah.
But when you're looking at it from the revenue side, when you're looking at it from the county side, you're looking for anything that could be as minimal as possible that would be a direct help for that road and bridge budget. And an extra $10 on those tags seems like a minimal thing, and it would also help the road and bridge departments be able to have more of a level source of revenues coming in. So it's something that we should look at. It's something that we need to kind of gauge the ins, the outs, the good, the bad, and see if that's something we can land on, all agree on.
And of course, we're all, the wind's blowing 45 miles an hour outside right now.
Every day.
We're under a wind advisory. We've been under red flag warnings. The drought's here again. And one of the things that the county does is supplement the resources that volunteer fire departments have. How important is that? Do you see that becoming more of an issue as the years go on?
Absolutely. That is an enormous issue. Thank you for bringing that up. My family back in Southeast Texas are all volunteer fire department. My dad was a volunteer firefighter back in Silsbee, Texas. And my uncle was the chief. And so I've got a lot of roots with volunteer fire departments. They are essential to the communities in and around Tom Green County. Tom Green County is rare in a way because we only have one city in our county. Most counties have one or two, at least townships or something. We have one. And so we have a lot of rural areas out there that a lot of people live out. Yeah. And they don't have protection like I do over in my Southland home for the fire department to be there within 3 or 4 minutes. They may have to wait 30, 40 minutes, in which time their house can burn to the ground. We had some dear friends of ours lose their house this last week, and it's devastating because they were out in the county. Yeah. But the fire departments have got to have good funding. They have got to have someone fighting for their funding, fighting for them in Austin, because you're right, the winds right now are dangerous. And any spark from any car, a cigarette butt, anything could light up, and there's not a whole lot we can do about it with 45-mile-an-hour winds. As we saw in Eastland, Brown County, several of those other places, there's just not a lot of defense against it. So it's a serious issue, and the drought right now and the wind that we're experiencing this year is really bringing it to the forefront that those fire departments really we got to get with them. We need to go to those meetings. We need to learn, what do you guys need? Who do you need in the times of emergency? They may not need it all year long, but whenever we do have an emergency, What is step one? What is step two? What is step three as far as what you need right then and there? And a lot of that's going to be making sure that we have the funding in place to be able to do that at that time. So a lot of organization's going to have to go into that.
Yeah, and one of the things that I learned through that I relearned through this campaign process is that there was a lot of talk thrown around about the budget, and there were some questions about, well, the county's got an annual budget of $50 million, whatever it is, like that's just a lump sum blank check account somewhere that you can write money on.
Sure.
The reality is all that money's spoken for.
Absolutely.
So to move money from one place to another, you've got to be able to, when there's a request for additional funding, you got to cut it from somewhere else.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's business management. You've got to be able to run a business. You've got to be able to manage budgets and manage personalities within that budget. And that's what the county judge does. And so you're absolutely right. If you cut from one place, or you have to take some money from this to put over here, you have to move it from somewhere else. And so you've got to get very crafty. Luckily, the county has some great people that work for it.
Yeah.
County treasurer, the county auditor, they're the two county financial officers. And they are two of the best in the state. And we're lucky to have both of them because of the experience and the knowledge that they have within that. And so I'm going to be lucky, or whoever wins is going to be lucky to get in there and work with the people that are already there to make sure that we understand it is a fine line we're going to be walking. And we've got to try to do it without increasing in those taxes. The tax burden in this community is enough. The homeowner pays, I think it's around 65% of the tax burden goes to the homeowner. Yeah. We've got to stop that. We've got to limit that as best we can in whichever way we can.
Okay. We could go on forever, but what we need to do at this point is I'm going to back away, and this is no questions. This is you and that camera and the voters. Sure. You'll have all kinds of forums and opportunities over the next 7 weeks to talk with people one-on-one, but this audience is probably the largest one you'll get to talk to because they'll get to see this over and over again. Sure. So two things. One is, where can they learn more about you? And then the rest of this time is whatever is on your mind. What is your message to the voters? Yeah. So open mic, long as you need. Todd Kolls, voters, voters, Todd Kolls.
I appreciate that. I am Todd Kolls, and I am asking for your vote. I am a business manager. I own a business downtown in the Cactus Hotel. We started it with nothing. We had a very small amount of savings. I didn't have a desk. I didn't have a phone. I didn't have jewelry in my cases. When we did the ribbon cutting for the store, my wife and my mom allowed me to put their jewelry in my cases so that it looked like a jewelry store whenever we actually did the ribbon cutting for the chamber. And that's how we started. I am a fighter. And there has been times in this business where we have done well, and there's been times in this that we have not. And we also had to fight through a retail jewelry store in West Texas during COVID and during a global-wide pandemic. And I can assure you that is no picnic. But I am a fighter, like I said, and we were able to get through it, and I have some great people that work with me. My wife and I own the store together. We have a staff of some of the best people in town, and they kept this thing going. We all worked hard. We all worked together, and we were able to fight through and keep this open and keep it going. Tom Green County is going to face a lot of challenges. We are out in the middle of nowhere, as everybody knows.
Yep.
And we don't get a lot of residual effect from any metropolitan areas. Like a lot of other towns our size, they have some kind of metro area close by that they are able to get some residual effect on. We don't have that.
Yep.
We're 3 hours from everywhere. And being that, we have to figure it out ourselves.
Yeah.
We have to figure out our water sources ourselves. We have to figure out our electricity needs ourselves. We have to do all of that. We don't get 4 or 5 other communities that are all surrounding that we get to work with. And so doing that ourselves makes us tough, makes us wise, but it also makes it expensive at times.
Yeah.
And whenever we have to do those things, and that's why the taxes here, why are the taxes here so expensive? Well, because we have to figure out all on our own. And the tax base is something that we desperately need to grow. You know, $7.5 billion worth of taxable valuables in the county right now. I would love to see that expand. And through economic development, my time spent with City of San Angelo Development Corporation, COSA-DC, they do such an amazing job of bringing revenues to this area, bringing new paychecks to this area, bringing new jobs, new industry, new machinery, all these things that can be done with an investment from the taxpayer. That organization is funded by taxpayers, so that we're able to take that money in, turn it around, put it back to work in the community. And sometimes that's through private partnerships, and sometimes it's through public partnerships. And so we're able to do a lot with that. I spent 6 years on that board.
Yeah.
And so managing the $8 million or so a year budget that we had, and being able to look at the projects, take those projects in, and realize, look, this isn't Todd Kolls' money that we're spending on these projects. This is the taxpayer money. And so it really did teach me and train me to understand that you don't just spend money like crazy whenever you're dealing with taxpayer money.
Yep.
You have to be very decisive. You have to be very wise about what you're trying to do. And you have to understand that this money needs to have some kind of revenue source coming back to the county. It's got to be able to be put to work as an investment for our community. And that is what I was able to learn over 6 years of serving on that board. I served as president of that board for the last 2 years, and I'm very proud of the work that we were able to do. We had a great board whenever I was there, and an enormously successful, knowledgeable staff for the City of San Angelo Development Corporation and everything that they do. And so Tom Green County is going to face some challenges. Tom Green County is going to need someone that understands how to take those revenues in, how to turn those revenues around, and how to fight. And those are the three things. Those are three qualities that I know that I have. The more I've learned about this job, Yantis, the more I know I'm going to love it.
Yeah.
And the more I also know I'm going to be great at it. And I have no doubt about that.
Okay.
I'm not looking for a position. I want the job.
Okay.
I want to get in there. I want to roll my sleeves up. I want to meet every employee. I want to know what their goals are. I want to know what they need out of their careers. And I want to go to every department head. I want to know where the problems are. What can we do? Where can we start? And I am really looking forward to it. So I'm asking for your vote. Anytime you want to get a hold of me, my cell phone number is 325-212-2894. My email is toddrkolls@aol.com. Yes, I still have an AOL account. I've had it since I was 16 years old, and there's no reason to change it. But also, our store is downtown in the Cactus Hotel. Come by and see me anytime. The store phone number is 325-655-6557. Any questions, concerns, anything you have for me, reach out to me. I'm fully accessible. I will answer any questions anytime, and I will meet any group. I would love to come talk to your group. If y'all have a lunch group or a breakfast group or anything like that, I would love to come visit with y'all. So anything I can do for this community, I'm wanting to jump in there and help out with. So
Great.
all right.
Todd, thank you for coming by. Todd Kolls is a candidate for Tom Green County Judge in the May 24th runoff election, the Republican runoff election. And the winner of that will go on to the November general election. There may or may not be an independent candidate there. We'll find out sometime in June if that's going to happen. Early voting is from May 16th to May 20th, I believe. And everybody needs to go out and exercise their right to vote. So please vote in that primary. Again, Todd Kolls, thank you for coming by San Angelo Live.
I appreciate it, Yantis. I appreciate y'all having me in.
All right, great. For San Angelo Live, Todd Kolls, I'm Yantis Green.